Hello and welcome to another episode of the Farr Show where I'm Damien Farr, and tonight we're talking about, well, my favorite albums of all time. So, before we get too far into it, it's really raining, and being honest, I don't have any other day to film, so I kind of was just like, you know what? You can hear the rain, that's okay. It'll add some nice background noise instead of some background music that's just terrible. So, we're just going to go with the rain. So, we're talking my favorite albums of all time. I want to point out there's one that I left off this list right here, but I'll put it in automatically, so just making sure you're aware of that. So, let's start talking about it. Where first and foremost, we got to talk about Awaken My Love, where I got the t-shirt, because this is one of literally my favorite albums of all time. For some reason, every time I talk about this album, I feel like I should be doing this. I've unboxed it on my show, a special edition of it. I've had it over there when I reviewed it. So I have two vinyl versions of this album. I own the CD, bought it digitally. This is one of my favorite albums. I don't know how to say it other than... I just love that Donald Glover went from, oh, here, I'm a rapper, to suddenly now, I'm a singer, R&B singer. And it's like, wow, this is great. It's kind of R&B, but it's kind of soulful at the same time. So I really love it. I think it's definitely maybe his best album. But, there's one big but here. We got to talk about Because the Internet. I love Because the Internet as well. Another great Childish Gambino album. This one's more rap though, being honest. There is some singing here and there, but it's more of a rap album. Still a great album. Definitely both are two of my favorites. Now I know what you're going to say. Damien, where's Camp? His other album, or 3/15/20. You know, the date that it released or was leaked. Well, being honest, I haven't listened to that one enough to really put it on this list. And then Camp is great, don't get me wrong. I would put Camp in here. But at that point, I feel like I'm doing way too many from Childish Gambino and really just kind of fudging the results here. So, then we're going to... From a movie that has always given me joy... Well, two movies, actually. We're doing Awesome Mix Volume 1 and Volume 2. Some of these songs are so good. I'm surprised they were able to get the rights to some of these songs. This is my favorite compilation, I would say. When we go compilations, I'm meaning like artist songs that were compiled into one thing that's good overall. And I like that. So, being honest, it's great. If you haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 or 2, what are you doing here? And why aren't you listening to Awesome Mix Volume 1 and 2? Spoiler alert for when I do my favorite movies. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and 2 are on there because, well, I gotta put them on there. Then let's go over to Daft Punk, where for some reason I feel like I should look up. We're doing Discovery by Daft Punk. Great album. Great album. I mean, this is the album, they were like a house duo band or a French house band, and then suddenly they're like, we're just gonna change it up. And they changed it up for the better. Discovery is amazing. And being honest, we're gonna talk about Ram eventually. When I say Ram eventually, I mean pretty quickly here. That's a great album as well. We're going to talk about that. So there's going to be a drop. I feel like Daft Punk Discovery is amazing. Drop in quality for Human After All. And then it drops back up for Ram. So we'll get to Ram soon. Then we got Emotion by Carly Rae Jepsen. This album, I never thought I would put this album on here. But over time, it's grown on me more and more and more and more. I don't know. Just the songs on this album are great. I gotta really point out the I Really Really Like You song, because for some reason the video and the song is always stuck in my head. So, you know, that's a personal problem of mine. Then we got Future Sex Love Sounds by Justin Timberlake. I love his reaction for this because this album is amazing. But I love that he said after he released this album, it's what is NSYNC gonna do next to what are you gonna do next? Which we're going to talk about what he did next soon, but we'll get there. So, great album. Do I think it's his best? Second best. There's one better, and we're going to talk about it right up here soon. Then we got Halo, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 3 ODST, and I'll even throw Halo 4 in there. I know that's a lot, and Halo kind of all blends together. I'm going to be honest, though. I didn't put Halo Wars in here, or Halo Wars 2, or Halo 5. Those I just kind of threw out. But Halo 1, 2, 3, and there's also Reach, but for some reason I didn't write it down on here. I must have just forgot. But all those are great. Halo 4, while it takes a different tone and different sound completely than the other ones, I still love it. So, definitely all the Halo soundtracks are great. I actually have a Spotify playlist with all the Halo soundtracks on it, except 5, because once again, I'm not a big fan of Halo 5. Full soundtrack, quality, overall, just that game doesn't make me happy. So, we finally got to it. Daft Punk, Random Access Memories. Gotta look up here because consistency, I guess. So, Daft Punk, Random Access Memories. This is Daft Punk being like, you know what, we're gonna do everything. And we're gonna make a good album. And I'm like, damn, you made a good album, Daft Punk. That's all I got. Really, it's a great album. Won Grammy Award for Album of the Year when it was out there. Great album, definitely worth the listen. This is probably the one that I would say if you have to listen to any of them, listen to Ram. If you've never heard of Daft Punk, find a way to listen to Daft Punk. Ram is their best album. It's them taking Beach Boys sounds and all these other sounds and combining them into one thing. So if you haven't listened to it, listen to Ram. This one's a kind of a guilty pleasure, just like Carly Rae Jepsen. Teenage Dream by Katy Perry. Now, the reasoning behind this is Katy Perry was the first concert I've ever seen. This was one of my favorite albums growing up. 2010, right around the time of Halo Reach, I would actually just play Halo Reach and drive around Forge World and listen to this album. So, I thought it was great. Another Justin Timberlake one here. 2020 Experience. When I say the 2020 Experience, wow, that was a loud bang of thunder. When I say the 2020 Experience, I mean Part 1 and Part 2. 2 drops in quality, yes, but it's still a good album overall. I think if you combine them together, they're a great album. Definitely his best work is 2020 Experience Part 1, but I like Part 2 of 2 as well, so I combine them into one. Complete experience it is. So we're getting to the one that I didn't include here, so we're just going to skip alphabetization here for just a second. When the World Comes Down, the All-American Rejects. Another album that I listen to a lot when playing video games. I listened to this one while playing Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, the game. That was my first Xbox 360 game, and, well, I listened to that album for hours upon hours while playing that game. Gives You Hell is definitely one of my favorites. Then we go to 303, Want. Another one that I've listened to countless times. Want is definitely their best album, don't get me wrong. It's so different. It's not really anything on here. They're like crappy rappers in a way, and I love it. And they try to be singers at one point, and they do terribly, but I still love it. I love this album. This one I listen to playing while Bioshock 1 and 2 all the time for some reason. Don't ask how they fit together. I don't understand it. Then we're going to probably my favorite album of all time, and I will always say this. Has he had good albums since then? Yes. Mike Posner, 31 Minutes to Take Off. This album literally changed me in a way that I want to be a music producer in some way because of this album. Is it that great of an album? The hooks are pretty catchy, the lyrics are pretty good here and there, the beats are really good. He wanted to be a producer, and then nobody would buy his beats, so he was just like, you know what, I'll sing on them myself. And to be honest, Mike Posner, you said you need a mentoring artist. I'm willing to be mentored. I'm not too much younger than you, but I'm still willing to be mentored. So then we're getting to the final two. There's two more. 808s and Heartbreak, Kanye West. Another great album. This album, I love. I gotta say, even though most people hate it, I love the auto-tune. I think it's great. Because he can't sing. Let's be honest. Kanye West, no offense, you can't sing. So the fact that you auto-tuned it and made it sound good is amazing. I love that. And then finally, we got one last one, which Ed Sheeran Plus. This album is like a folky rock sounding album, and I love it. I don't know what it is about it. I just continue to listen to it over and over again. It's one of those albums that I can keep coming back to. All these are ones that I can really keep coming back to and enjoy listening to over and over again. Teenage Dream a little bit less and less because I listened to it so much back then, and being honest, Katy Perry's careers kind of went down the tube, but that's not important. So, tell me, what are your favorite albums in the comments below? Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon, and have a far off night.